Hi, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. We are with a fabulous woman. She's on the ascension path, and I'm so glad that we will have it. And we will talk to us about all her experiences. And believe me, they are incredible. So, welcome to Joanne. I would like Joanne to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what excites you in life. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joan Nordeman. I live in Ontario, Canada. I would say that the biggest motivation for me in life are my kids. I have two sons. They are in their 30s, and we actually work and live together. My youngest son still lives with me, another little dog, and my older son lives in another house that I own, and we own a ferment on-premise winery that we're partners in together. So I get to see them a lot and have meals with them, and they're my why. They're my why for anything that I do. I was told in my 20s that the likelihood of my having children was probably 10%. I had endometriosis. I had a lot of female problems, shall we say, and I proved all the doctors wrong. My two boys are both my birth children, and they are the greatest gifts that I have in life. So I'm an entrepreneur. Sorry, I'm an entrepreneur. I have multiple businesses. I make a joke. I have grade 12 education, but I have a triple PhD in life because I learned so many things through, associates, businesses that I've done, and I've been very fortunate in life.
And so, in few words, because then we're gonna sort of expand throughout the video, what excites you in life? What makes you get up in the morning and say, wow, this is a wonderful day?
I love to help other people. I love to make a difference. If you're on Facebook, I have subscriptions to a lot of different places, and I post just positive messages. I only post positive messages, and I don't get into conversations with people. I want to keep my energy up. I'm human. Not every day it is that way. So I do the best to really focus on what I'm grateful for. And I found over the years that the more I appreciate what I have, the more the universe gives me. And I'm not a materialistic person. I'm comfortable. I like nice things, but I'm not a shopper. So what excites me, it's being of service, of helping people, of making a difference.
That's great, because all the postings you do in Facebook, they are fabulous. I sometimes share because they are very valuable, very insightful, a little bit deeper, make you think, make you sort of reflect on your values. So that's fabulous. That's fabulous. So, as I ask everybody in this channel, and I like to be of service, like you know, if you feel that you are making a difference, then I guess you earn heaven or something like that. I'm going for heaven. You obviously are positive, and you know your worth, and you are happy in life. Would you share one of those situations, something that it's really make you reflect or taught you something, something that you didn't know you had, or something that you didn't know you were able to do? So everybody can sort of review and see, like, that's happened to me too. It's just, I feel that, I know that.
I think it goes even back to just being a kid. My parents were immigrants. They came from Holland to Canada. I went to a very small, kind of a rural school. There was only 12 people in my grade 8 graduation class. So it was very, I don't know. And I remember I've always been kind of the square peg in a round hole kind of person, and I really didn't fit.
What do you mean by that, the pagan square? Like,
I was always different.
Okay.
I just didn't accept. I question everything, and I would see things, and I think it's my sister and I had this conversation, and she's we're very close. We were taught common sense. We were taught, to think things, to look at things, question things. It just didn't sit right.
So
And
you will question the teacher, something that she explained or he explained, the instructors or other
other people,
classmates.
I think just sort of everything. Like it just didn't make sense to me. And so I would question things. And of course, I and I didn't suffer fools easy. Like people that did things, and it's just like, why are you doing that? And of course, I wasn't popular. So because I spoke my mind, and I felt that I was kind of an outsider. My parents being immigrants, there were 7 kids in my family. I was the oldest daughter. I had an older brother. And so we had a lot of responsibilities. And because we were different, we were in a very Scottish, English, Irish community, and they're very clicky. And so we were kind of outside, and I wanted to belong, and I wanted to do well. We never went to bed hungry. We never not had some clothes, but we were poor. Like and most kids were, I mean, in that time frame. And I always thought I want to do better. I want more. And I always thought money is the thing that's going to make me happy. And I was married at 19. That lasted almost 4 years. And oh my God, he couldn't save a penny. It was always spending way more than we had. And then I really thought money's gonna make me happy. Money's gonna make me happy. And I ended up dating and actually living with some very, very wealthy people. And money did not make me happy. It didn't, there were too many strings attached. There were so many things that just, from the outside just didn't work. My husband, and we were together almost 28 years. He passed away 5 years ago. One of the main sort of turning points were, and we were doing quite well, but he had an advertising agency and our major client was sold. And overnight we went from a very, very healthy 6-figure income to a very unhealthy 5-figure income. So we were earning literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we basically still had about 10,000 coming in. And our overhead at that time was about 10,000 a month because we had 2 homes, 2 cars, and 4 children between the 2 of us to support. And so it was like, oh, now what do we do? Where do we go now? Because we just didn't, and it was like a big wake-up call. So I think between, being a kid and wanting better and, getting into money situations, and then here I am with this huge, and by the time, and I was really good with money, and my husband was managing the money. By the time that he actually gave me the books, we were already $100,000 in debt. So what do you do now?
Yeah. So going back to your childhood, um, you you were in school. What do the kids or the people do to you, and how was her reaction? What did you feel?
What I remember as a kid was feeling they made fun of me, of the clothes that I wore. I remember them saying, do you put your finger in the dike or wear your wooden shoes? Because we didn't wear wooden shoes. Like anything to do with the Dutch nationality, they would make fun of. Um, and you know what? Kids are just cruel. Like kids,
Yeah, kids
if
are
you're
so.
being hurt, you're going to hurt other people. And I think, you know what, there's always a pecking order. So there's sort of the top people and then all the way down. And I was kind of, I think about halfway down or 3/4 of the way down. So they picked on me, and then I would pick on the kids. And I've done work to ask forgiveness to, even now for the people that I hurt. But, a hurt person will hurt other people. And I think that's what I kind of remembered. And
What
good
did you
enough.
feel like?
Yeah, I'm not
Like
good
they
enough.
like did you? It was pain in your stomach. Was just like just feel bad, like anger or what feelings? What showing in that moment?
A feeling of I was an outsider. I didn't belong. I think it's good enough. And in that is like, it's like you kind of, go into yourself, and then probably fighting back. And in the fighting back is probably where I just didn't fit in anymore, because I just didn't take it. I can't remember. I was always a pretty healthy person, so I think my body was pretty good at dealing with all of that stuff. But I just, even up until probably 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, maybe, it was just being very careful about what I wore, how I appeared to people. I remember
You
when I
were
was really
still concerned about what other people
thought of
think
me.
of you, how you look.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, if I said something to somebody and they may not have even been offended, but I'd look at it afterwards and I'd question myself. I just didn't have the confidence. I'd question myself on a lot of things. And so it was, how do I become good enough? How do I belong? How do I,
So
and
at that time, sorry to cut you off,
that's
at
okay.
that time when you were a child, the first reactions to get out of that was fighting back. You fought back. So obviously you had certain strength or maturity to say, leave me alone or go away, or you just rejected that thing that was coming in. And
I
I
think
guess
what,
that was the first time of like imposing yourself and making it stronger.
yeah, I don't know that I did it so much. I think I withdrew. I think I just withdrew from everything. So, for instance, if you're not if you're not up close to them, they can't hit you. They can't come at you. So if you
Like
withdraw,
you basically
you build,
ignore them,
sorry?
or ignore
Well,
you ignore
I stayed away, shall we say, from the line of fire because it hurt too much. And so we do protective things for ourselves to survive and whatever that is. And I mean, I don't really remember because at that time I really wasn't good with words, and I don't remember, if I got into a verbal conversation with somebody, they were better at it, and they would have the upper hand, and I would just feel crappy afterwards. And so I would try to avoid having that kind of situation. But yet, if it was something that I really felt was wrong, I would stand up. And I didn't have any second doubts about it. Like, this is just wrong. Like, you can't do this. But
so
if it was,
you knew from the very beginning, from where you were a child, what was right and what
yeah.
was wrong.
And I don't know if integrity is taught so much, but there was a very clear line in the sand in our house. This is right and this is wrong. And that was drilled into us, I'm pretty sure, because my parents, I think looking back at my parents, my father was probably the most honest man on the planet. He was in business, and people tried to take advantage of him, and I really respected him he was a tough man. But we really knew what was right or wrong. And I think that would just encompass just about everything, even in dealing with people, and like, we can be, we as adults, or we as people can be quite mean. If we're hurting, again, we lash out. But I found over the years that I really preferred to compliment somebody or be nice to somebody versus trying to hurt somebody, because when I hurt them, I actually hurt me. So it was just an evolution of, this works for me and this does not work for me. This feels good for me. This does not feel good for me.
And so how long did it last? Like that was throughout all your school years, or a certain point you say, okay, go to hell. I don't care about you. I mean, even you sort of closed into yourself and put this shield to protect you, isolated from whatever situation or problems or development was going on. You didn't want to participate. You still were dealing with that because
Yeah.
you are in society. You had to,
Yeah.
to interact with these people all the time. So for how long did you do that? And did it ever cause you to think, okay, I have enough. I think this is too much. I'm like sick, I'm tired, or you just took it like something normal and just went on with your life, because that's another option.
I think it was really sort of an evolution over time, because I think no matter how old you get, maybe even on your deathbed, there's still questions that you have. I don't know if we'll ever I don't know if we'll ever get it done. There's always room for growth. I know I started my self-development journey. I took a course called Master Key, and this was in my late 20s. So that's 50 years ago,
The
40 years ago.
master key system from
Yeah.
Hanel.
I
Wow.
I just remember it's called Master Key, and it was a weekend, and there were, I think, four of us. There was the two or three of us that were taking the course, and there was an instructor and the lady that she was also an instructor. And it was life-changing for me. And I learned about the law of attraction, and what you give energy to, you get more of. And that was the start. But again, we're drawn to the things that are going to help us evolve. So to answer your question, even now, given a certain circumstance and a certain person or a certain situation, I may still question myself and still think, am I really good enough? But I think for the most day to day, with all the people around me, the people that I want in my life, I keep in my life. The people that I just don't resonate with, you know what? It's nothing right or wrong. It just is, we're on a different path, or we have a different belief system or whatever. And so it's, you know, I wake up in the morning now, Patricia, just feeling like, hey, you know what? I'm good enough at who I am. And let's see what today brings for me. And I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. But if I can help, like if you call me and say, hey, Joan, can you help me out with this? I know you're good at this. I mean, I'll give you an example. I have a tenant, and I had a conversation with him, and he actually had to ask for an extra week to pay me the rent. And I said, have you ever sat down and just done a money management thing? And he says, well, what do you mean? Because we were talking about that. And I said, well, as a kid, I was taught, you have a piece of paper, you put a line through the middle. This is the half that has everything coming in. So if you have $1,000 coming in on a weekly basis, and this side has everything that's going out. And if you have $800 that you're going out, you've got $200 left over that you use to buy your extra stuff. But if you've got $1,200, you've got $200 more going out than coming in. You need to make some changes. And like I sat down with him, and he says, nobody's ever showed that to me. And I said, and he said, wow. And so he actually sat down with his wife, and they did a whole profile, and he went into the, what is a need and what is a want. And I went, ooh, and I felt so good, because I actually, without really having to do anything, I know that I helped somebody, because I gave them a tool that I was taught from birth, because my parents taught us that, but it's not in the school
Yeah, no,
system.
it's not common. Like probably no parents teach that to the kids. Like
And
very few.
yeah,
Very
and
few.
then even with my own kids, my oldest son was working at McDonald's. They gave him a credit card at 15, and then he gave me this little story. Oh, a friend of mine showed me, if I put a blank envelope into my bank and say that I've got $100, they're giving me $100. And I said, do you know what you've just done? And he did it. And I said, you could be put in jail. That's fraud. And I went, holy cow. And I asked him, I said, aren't they teaching you money management in school? And he went, no. And I realized I had to sit down and start to teach them, both my sons, what money management was. And it's quite interesting, because I work with them now just to see how that's
At least
evolved.
they can apply with their learn from the
Yeah,
mother.
yeah. So yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
So you said like that was an evolution throughout, getting to know yourself, starting to be to trust your instinct or your guts or whatever. When do you think that process started, and what did you do about it?
So the question is,
It doesn't have to be like, yeah, you said that you grow out through this feeling of not being good enough, and it was an evolution throughout your life. When do you think this change started? Like, when do you think you felt the need or the urgency to do something about it?
well, I mean, I think back to that course that I took, and I think I was 20, 26 maybe. It was just, and that was an eye-opening course, because it gave me the law of attraction. It gave me a tool that I hadn't ever been aware of before. And then also,
can you give us some information about the law of attraction?
okay,
Attraction, the way you you understand.
Going back to that particular course, so I think it was maybe a little later, 1978, 79. And I was working at an advertising agency. I was driving a 1969 Chevy Impala, and it was old, but it got me to work. And I really, really wanted a 450 SL Mercedes two-seater convertible. Well, I mean, I'm making what, couple $100 a week or something like that. And at that time, this car was like $40,000, which is like way beyond my reach. So I took the course in August. So what I did, so the visualization, I went and I got a picture of it and I put it up on my mirror. So I saw it every morning. And I went in. So the part of the master key was go in and really experience it. So I went into the car dealership and I drove a 450 SL. And the sales rep, I will never forget, he said to me, well, you know what? He said, I don't judge anybody. He said, a lady came in here last week and she's in like barn boots and stuff. I think she was a horse lady or something. And she paid cash for the car. He said, so I never question anything. So this was August. I met a gentleman in October, I guess, and we started dating. And he had asked me about cars and stuff like that. And I ultimately ended up living with him for 4 years. But in November, he bought a 450 SL. Now, in the law of attraction, I forgot to put down, I wanted to own it. I had access to this car. I mean, I got the car.
That's
and
so
I drove this car
yeah,
for like
you got the car.
I got the car. I just didn't own it, right? So the law of attraction is like, okay, but how could I from August to November have done such a huge, but I believed it. I took the car for a test drive. I knew what it felt like. And there's a lot more details that go with it. But anyway, I ended up driving this 450 SL. In fact, it was so funny at the ad agency that I was working at. I ended up parking the car in a specific spot, and some of the designers put up this little sign that said, receptionist parking Mercedes only. Because I drove a better car than most of the people in the place that owned the place, right? So it was just, it's a law of attraction. It's and when you take it, it's, if you limit your belief, if you think you can't have it, you won't have it. If you leave the doors open, it may not come the way you think it's going to come. But if you truly believe that that's right for you, the universe will bring it to you. And there's a lady that I follow, Abraham Hicks, and it's like, ask for what you want, set your intention, and get the heck out of the way, and it'll come to you. And it's just, most of us stand in our own way from getting what it is that we want.
For many years, I did my wish board, a huge
vision board.
Wish board.
Yeah, vision board. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I put it in front of my bed. So it was the first thing I saw in the morning, and it was the last thing I saw at night. And every year, everything came to fruition. I mean, everything that I saw in this board, it happened. So one of the times, I wanted this house view, nice view. I found it in a magazine, this window of a living room with 3 panels overseeing the valley and colorful kitchen. I didn't realize about the kitchen, the picture, until I got the house with the kitchen. So the living room, the house that we finally got, had these 3 panels, and it oversaw the canyon, the valley. It was just gorgeous. In the kitchen, it was very pretty, very colorful, but it was a tiny kitchen, exactly like the picture. I mean, and I think now with this transition, we are ascending, we are getting more connected to ourselves, to each other, to nature, to the planet, to the universe. Things speed up. We manifest much, much, much faster. Be careful what you think. It's like, you ask for a car, but it wasn't your car. So you have to be very precise.
I did the same thing for my husband. I was dating other people, and I had 2 pages of what I wanted in my perfect mate. And I We connected actually over the phone through business and talked for 4 months, and then we met, and we were together almost 28 years before he passed. And I had 2 pages. Now there were a couple of little details I forgot in the pages, even with humans, the same thing. And it's like, oh shoot, I should have written that in there. But you know what? It made life interesting. It made life interesting. No.
No, I totally agree, because you say like, oh my gosh, why did I didn't think about this? You said that course you took on the law of attraction was deterrent in your life to evolve, to start growing, to make you feel confident. Just tell us, was your integration of that thing that you learned into your life? What else?
Well, the major thing with going back to it, as I said, Bob had the advertising agency, and we lost the client, and so we were really in debt in a big way, and we decided we were not going to go bankrupt. And so I remember I still have in front of me on the wall here in my office, I still have all kinds of affirmations, like this week we were successful. I triumph again. So there was all kinds of affirmations that I would do. I remember getting up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I literally went to the phone book. I have a print business. It's a print business, and I contacted like all the banks, the insurance companies, the advertising agencies, pharmaceutical. I literally did the phone book thing, and I know that there was no room for failure. We had to succeed. And my husband was my biggest cheerleader, and I was his biggest cheerleader. We actually in business, I was finance and sales, and he was marketing and legal. So we had pretty much all the basics covered, but together we were such a strong team. And when I would be discouraged, he would pick me up. When he would be discouraged, I would pick him up. And
how did you do that? Like, how did you pick him up? Like, what did you say? What did you do?
We did a lot of Peak Potential courses together. Peak Potentials is a self-development company. I don't believe it exists in that form anymore. It's like I don't know if you're aware of Landmark. There's a lot of different companies now that sort of idea where you go to courses and they're very intense. It's helping you to reprogram your mind, reprogram, things that you thought were this is the way it was, and you learn other ways to interact with yourself, really. And they challenge you physically and emotionally to help release some of those old thoughts and put in new thoughts or new ways of being, I think is the best way. And I have to be so grateful. I am so grateful to Peak Potential because Bob and I did the courses together. And by doing them together, not only did we take the courses, we also went back and gave back. We volunteered. We probably did a dozen or more Millionaire Mind Intensives, which were introductory courses, and we volunteered. We traveled all over. We're in Ontario, but we traveled to New York, to Boston, to Montreal, like anything that was sort of within a 5-6 hour radius of where we live. We would travel there, and we would pay for our own lodging and our own food and everything in and around the thing. And the great thing was we were giving back. We were helping other people. We were part of a structure. But those tools and experiences that we went through, and also the people, you and I actually met through one of those courses, what we learned through them was, you know what, you can do stuff on your own, but you're so much powerful as a team. And so with Bob and I, we were such a diverse team. We had all of the components together, and we worked together. And I think it's just on the days where I was just like, he would come and he would give me because he also became a coach. He would give me a coaching session and just help me to pick myself up again and feel good about what I was doing. And then we go back on, and I would do the same. And if someone asks me for my time more so, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that need money, and everybody needs money, but money is energy. If we understand the whole psychology of it, money is energy. And if you're flowing with good intentions is the best way I can describe it. I intend every day, you asked me that earlier, I intend every day to be the best me that I can be, whatever that is. And some days I'm crying my eyes out because even 5 years later, I still miss my husband. He was that pivotal in my life. Or the best day could be that I just randomly meet somebody and I help them, or just, so it's applying the things that we do for someone else's good. And when we help other people, it actually helps helps us.
You look for help outside yourself. And because some people, they are reluctant to ask for help, or they don't trust anybody. They can help me, or I'm good with myself. I can deal with that. But at a certain point, you realize that you would be better off if you learn something, some tools to grow, to evolve, to be better, to deal with life and business. And
I think that I've always been a student, and I truly believe that the universe will give me or guide me to whatever my next step is. Whether it's a meditation group, whether it's an education group. I mean, I think I'm just a scholar, and so the universe will guide me too. Like there's my friend went to see this lady who's multiple modalities, and she was raving about her session with her just at the end of last week. I plan to call this lady because I feel guided. And that's the other part. We know what's right for us. Inside, we always know what's right for us. If we listen to that voice, it will take you where you need to go. It will keep you safe. It will give you to the highest thing. So when I look over the years, I mean, I did a whole bunch of landmark. I did a bunch of peak potential. I did success resources. Like I can go on and on. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on courses and camps on myself. And it's the best money I ever spent, because who's worth it? Me. Like I have to look after me.
When did you notice or learn that you know what is good for you?
I've always known it. It's just that now I am more aware that I will listen to my own voice and my own heart before I listen to somebody else. If it's something that I really don't know, and I know of someone who I think is an expert in that area, but I mean, what is an expert? Expert is really knowledge, or it's doing the same thing and refining it to a point where it just is good. So when did I know? I think we all know. We just need to listen to our voice. We need to listen to what our heart is guiding us. Been dumbed down over the years through the food, through the air, through the water and stuff like that. And so the cleaner you can make your living or your food intake or whatever. I mean, I've had a water system for 30 plus years in any place that I've lived in, because water that's majority of what I drink is water. So I want to have the best quality water that I can afford or that I can find for me. So again, it's just, I knew intuitively that that's what I needed to do.
So you think all this education, all this training that you have, help you get into this voice?
Absolutely.
Help you, connect or trust whatever comes from inside?
I think that there were tools in every one of them. So, I mean, I did meditation courses way back. Do I meditate like a lot of other people? I find that I can't. My sister literally has to set a timer because she goes away somewhere. My mind is too active to calm down my mind, but I know when I go out in nature, I have a garden in my backyard. When I go out in nature and I'm out there, and that's a form of meditation too. It's just not what other people say, but it's my form of meditation. Even reading for me, even though it's fiction, I go into another world, and then it disconnects my mind from all the stuff that's going on around us. So the courses, you know what, you'll know what's right for you, and or just talk to people. People are amazing. People love to help. So if you ask people questions,
that's
they'll help
totally
you
true.
and give you lots of knowledge, and then follow what feels right for you.
Yeah, I do remember Peak Potentials for me was before and after. It was so transformational, so different, because there was not only the part that work on your spirit, it was the physical part as well, that we don't know that we carry, because all these emotions we carry on in ourselves physically. It gets into our shoulders, it gets to our stomach, in our intestines, in our back. I mean, that, it makes us sick. I mean, if we don't deal with that.
Courses like that, I think, Patricia, what they do is they challenge you. You've been telling yourself a story that you can or cannot do certain things, and they challenge those belief systems and say, hey, well, you know what, just try it. And in order to motivate you to do that, well, you're part of a team and you don't want to be less than in your team, or there's a prize that you're trying to win. And all of a sudden, the thought that you had that you could not do something, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. Like walking on coals. Who walks on coals?
No. And we did walk on coals. And we were, I don't know if you remember, we were hiking, actually climbing this hill with the backpacks full of bricks.
Yeah.
And we had partners, two people. Anyhow, we go on this book pack full of bricks and climbing, like for 2, 3, 4 hours. I can remember it was just so tough. But at the beginning, when we just started to climb, some people were sitting already tired with them. And I said, oh, I can get some of your bricks. What all these bricks are. You know what I mean?
Oh, I remember.
Because I did that in my life.
Yeah.
These bricks were the problems, all these things that you carry on that you don't solve, or you bring problems on someone else to your life.
Yeah.
I was getting problems from other people that
you're carrying their load. Everybody thought the goal was to get to the top. Yeah. Right. And some of the people at all cost, that's all they wanted. Their total focus was
I got there to the top.
But for ours, it wasn't. For ours, it was my partner was my son. Our goal was to help the people along the way. Okay. And I'm still helping people.
But I couldn't get to the top with my load. I just left the backpack over there and I just walked.
Oh, good for you.
Because it was just so hard. I mean, not only in the physical part, but the emotions, because you want to get to the top. That was the task. And you're going to be fair to your partner, because that was a task you had to do together. And you want to help somebody, but you cannot do that, because all your problems are so overwhelming to you that you cannot help anybody else. But still, you feel in the obligation, because you are partners. It's your friend, it's your mother, it's your sister, it's your son. Okay, that you cannot help anybody except yourself.
Everybody has their own experience and their own, what you're relating to, what you're doing. And you know what, I look back at that and I think it's purposely designed that way. Even though this is what they're telling you to have to do, there's so many different variations of the outcome along the way. And what did it mean for you? And what did you learn from it? And I think the reason why you and I both look back at our first warrior camps as how powerful it was is because we experienced, and I know I had a dramatic change from who I was when I walked into that camp at the beginning and who I was when I walked out. And I have lots of stories I can share. My youngest son, we dragged him to it. He was an angry 14, 15-year-old teenager. Pot smoking, hated everything. When we came back, as we drove down, when we came back, he had totally transformed. And even now, because I dragged both my kids to the camps, we did a number of them, they thank me. And they'll throw some of this teachings that we learned at the camp back at me. And I'm going, oh my goodness, you're throwing the knowledge back at me. But at least it's been that powerful. So for anybody watching this, if there's a course out there, whether it's a meditation course or a group that you get involved in or something, if it's calling to you, that's right for you. And it's only to help you to raise your consciousness, to raise your energy to the true potential of you in this world. And I believe that I'm going to play a very big role in helping other people. I know that now. What that looks like, I don't know. But all the training that I've done up to this point, I'm 69 years old. All the training I've done and I'm healthy, I'm not on any kind of medications, have been to this point. And you know what? This moment right now is all I have. And I feel freaking awesome. I am so grateful for everything that I have and all the people, because they make my life so rich. So
those camps are exhausting in all aspects, like extremely exhausting. But you have this core of people, your group or the people, and they are grateful. Everybody sort of like helping each other and supporting each other. And then you learn that first, you are not alone in this world, even you do believe you are. And second, you have the support, no matter what. You're always gonna have the support of somebody.
You just need to have the courage to ask.
Yeah.
I like to be independent and strong. And I guess that's sort of an old training too, that if you ask for help, then you're weak. And that's really the opposite. If you have the courage to ask for help, you're actually strong, because you know that you're just going to be better because of it.
I was watching a video and the person was saying that about the 2023, that one of the main things we need to achieve in this year is balance, because it's going to be very hard for us if we are not in harmony, because the energy is very strong. So we really need to be grounded, not for one side or the other side. So anyhow, and
as much as you can, get into nature. Put it, if depending on what country or what your climate is, get into bare feet as much as you can. Drink as much water as you can. Eat as much whole food. By whole food, it's like Mother Nature gives you everything you need.
Balance means, like, if you are, like you said, you need to ask for help. I mean, you can help others, but if you only help others, it's like you are leaning to one side only. Yeah. So you need to go back to the center. So ask for help. Let others do the same work like you do.
To add to that too, Patricia, it doesn't have to necessarily be just people. If you're a religious person, you can ask God for help. If you're a metaphysical person, there's archangels out there. There's angels all around us. It's whoever you believe in. Ask them. There's lots of times where I'm in meditation. You can even ask your loved ones that are on the other side. I still talk to my husband and I'll say, hey, Bob, okay, I need a little help here already, and or my parents. And it's not just physical, like me helping you. It's so much bigger. And if you just go quiet, you'll get the answers. They'll give you the answers, or you'll feel this. I a lot of times feel just a really warm energy. And I know they're here. Like I know all my guides and angels are here with me right now. They're protecting me. They're looking after me.
Well, I have my grandmother she's always around, and I do have 4 masters. They are with me all the time. And they help me in different stages of my life, but they still here with me. So probably I still need them.
Yeah.
And I ask questions as well. And sometimes they give me answers. Sometimes I have to figure out what they mean for what they do. So, but anyhow, yeah, definitely. But being in balance and give and receive, give and receive. Very nice. So you did all these courses, you evolve, you grow up within yourself. Is anything that you felt that it was very important You say you use the law of attraction. Is anything else that you think it made a difference in your life that you would like to let us know?
I think the biggest thing is just gratitude and appreciation. I think that again, going with the law of attraction, the universe can't give you anything if you don't already value what you have. And so, I mean, I have a mantra that I wake up with and go to sleep with and say during the day, thank you for all that I am and all that I have. Thank you for the amazing miracles in my life every day. And I'll say it as I'm falling asleep. And I then will sort of do a mental list, and I look at start with my kids, start with the kids, and then, just the materialistic stuff that we have, which is mine for now, but it's made my life nice. It's gratitude. I mean, if it just it fills you up. It makes you like, wow, look what I really have done. And therefore it goes into a positive place. And it's like, wow, you know what? I really do have a good relationship with these people, or I really do have, the ability to do whatever it is that you do. And it's the uniqueness of each and every person, and focusing on that, focusing on what's working. Always focus on what's working, because I can be the drama queen. I used to be the drama queen of all drama queens, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
it didn't serve me. Instead of things working the way that I wanted them to, they were going the other way. Again, the law of attraction comes in. Whatever I give attention to, whatever I focus on, I'm going to get more of. So if I'm in gratitude, I'm wide open. And love. Just come from love and come from kindness. Just be kind. I carry a bunch of change in my in the centerpiece of my car. If I'm driving along, I feel good giving, so I give them change. I feel good giving. It's what I'm doing. I don't care what they do. That's judgment.
About the people that are always asking on the corners, I always say, if it's a hot day and if it's a cold day, I see at least they deserve at least my dollar, or whatever you can, $5 or $10, whatever you can give, for just for being there.
I would just
Totally.
love to hug them up. I won't, because I don't know who they are or whatever. I'm not that's not safe. But I would just like to I will look at them and I will hug them in a virtual hug and love, because every person on this planet deserves to have a hug and love.
What I
Energy.
do,
Everything's energy.
I just send them the magic dust,
Yeah.
these lights, they come and my good energy, and
Yeah.
see that I value them and I
Hmm.
see them. But that's the experience that I have to live in this life.
Yeah.
It's just like, because we come here and we choose what they want to do, and we
Yeah.
choose who are we going to be and what experience are we going to have.
Yeah.
So
But we have choices every day. We can change those experiences based on those decisions. Every single second we have choices. And it's just, what do I want my world to look like? I have a choice.
yes, yes, yes. That's courses, you evolve, you grow up within yourself. Is anything that you felt that it was very important use the law of attraction? Is anything else that it made a difference in your life that you would like to let us know?
I think the biggest thing is just gratitude and appreciation. I think that again, going with the law of attraction, the universe can't give you anything if you don't already value what you have. And so, I mean, I have a mantra that I wake up with and go to sleep with and say during the day, thank you for all that I am and all that I have. Thank you for the amazing miracles in my life every day. And I'll say it as I'm falling asleep. And I then will sort of do a mental list, and I look at start with my kids, start with the kids, and then, just the materialistic stuff that we have. It's gratitude. I mean, if it just it fills you up. It makes you like, wow, look what I really have done. And therefore it goes into a positive place. And it's like, wow, you know what? I really do have a good relationship with these people, or I really do have, the ability to do whatever it is that you do. And it's the uniqueness of each and every person, and focusing on that, focusing on what's working. Always focus on what's working, because I can be the drama queen. It didn't serve me. Instead of things working the way that I wanted them to, they were going the other way. Again, the law of attraction comes in. Whatever I give attention to, whatever I focus on, I'm going to get more of. So if I'm in gratitude, I'm wide open, and love. Just come from love and come from kindness. Just be kind. I mean, I carry a bunch of change in my car, in the centerpiece of my car. If I'm driving along and there's people out, and I give them change, I feel good giving. It's what I'm doing. I don't care what they do. That's judgment.
Yeah,
Hibernation right now.
about the people that are always asking on the corners. I always say, if it's a hot day and if it's a cold day, they deserve at least my $1 just for being there in
That's
the
their
sun,
job. That's the job
or
they've chosen.
or in the cold. I mean, you have to be there. You just stay outside in your patio, in your beautiful garden, standing up full day. That work already, it's just takes a lot of energy. And I don't care what they do with their money, but I think they earn that money.
I will look at them and I will hug them in a virtual hug and love, because every person on this planet deserves to have a hug and love. Everybody does.
I always, when I see something like that, because
Even just giving love and light.
exactly.
It's
So
energy.
what I do,
Everything's energy.
I just send them the magic dust,
Yep.
these lights, they come and like, at least, my good energy, and
Yep.
see that I value them and I see them. But that's the experience that I have to live in this life.
Yep.
We come here and we choose what they want to do, and we choose who are we going to be and what experience are we going to have. So
But we have choices every day. We can change those experiences based on those decisions. Every single second we have choices, and it's just, what do I want my world to look like? I have a choice.
Yes. That's pretty awesome. Well, I think we chit chat well enough, and I think we had such a great conversation. A lot of good, good points, and very valuable. I think very useful, because a lot of people are reluctant to think of, if I pay all this money, they're gonna get my money.
For me, they were priceless. I didn't look at it from the money perspective. I looked at it because I couldn't be the person I am today. I couldn't be even in a financial situation the way I am today. My measurement stick is the amount of joy and light that I have in my life, and I have a lot of that.
The transformation, the transformation tools they provide, and I mean, and you get all the activities make you really, really see life from different perspective. Totally, at the end of these sessions, you totally switch your view. Totally.
You chose
even
to
if they're
go.
more reluctant to this,
You chose to go, and you have a choice of how you want to feel. And if you're looking for a specific thing, it may come to you, but you don't recognize because you expect it to come. Like for me, it's just being open to whatever's coming, and it may come in this form. And I'm going, okay, what the heck is that? But hello, it's here for a reason. So let's determine what that reason is. And that's usually, it's there because it's actually going to get me to where it is that I thought I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And if not, then I make a decision and change course again.
Yeah. Being open, and just think that if something resonates with you, that's when you need to go. That's the road you need to take.
Everything that's in your life, you brought there. If you don't like it, you have a choice to change it. And you can't, like, get rid of the blame game. It's okay, where do I want to go now? You know what? It's here. Health-wise or business-wise or, relationship-wise, you brought this in here. And you know what? Until you fix it, until you stand up and look at it, it's going to keep coming back in a bigger and a bigger and a bigger way.
No, totally. Yes. it's really hard to understand that because we think always blame somebody or something, the weather, whatever. But no, we create our own life,
Reality.
our own space, our own energy, our own life,
Our own reality.
Our own reality. So we are up to anything.
Yep.
Whatever we want to do, whatever we want to change, we can do that.
And baby steps.
Yes.
Just
how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Like, one bite at a time, like sometimes when it's overwhelming for people, they are in very dire situations, very big problems that they cannot see the light, it's just something so big. It's just one step. I said, when you move, you are here, you have a mass. When you move this mass to another point, it creates this vacuum. And this vacuum only gets filled with good stuff for you. Only with good stuff, only with positive, only with progressive, only with something transformational. So if you pay attention to that, if you let this in, if you follow, if you work on that, then you can go to the next level, to the next step. Yeah. You can do a little step forward, but you just need to move this mass. You, with your problem, with your life, with your whatever, just move a little bit to the side.
Yeah.
One bite at a time. Just go step by step, very little. You don't need to move. You don't need to just move worlds, throw at walls, nothing. It's just a little step. Well, do you want to say anything else?
Me thanking for the time together. I'm glad we connected again. And you know what? It's just, again, shine your light. Just shine your light. There's only one you on the planet. It's only one me. And I do the best to be the best me. Today's going to be my best me ever.
Totally. What people do if they want to connect with you? Some people might be interested in your business, in the winery, the wine, contact you to ask for help, for information, something like that. If you would like
I'm on Facebook. If you're in Ontario or if you're in the Toronto area, our business is Corks Winery Brampton. I'll get back to you. If you have contact information, if they get in touch with you, they can email me.
If you would like, we will have the information in the description of the video, your information, your website, and I have a question. The wines that you either sell or produce are ice wines, because I know Canada is very big on ice wine.
What we have is what's called a ferment on premise winery. So we actually get juices from all over the world. So we do produce ice wine, but we get an ice wine kit from one of our suppliers. Then my youngest son is really the wine master, winemaker. He will look after the production of that. So you would come in today, you pay for your product, and then 4 to 6 weeks later, you come back and you bottle your wine. That's what they call a ferment on premise. So we've won 21 different awards. Really, we get the kits of wine, and then Matthew works with the recipe, and he kind of tweaks the recipe a little bit so he gets a little better taste. For your red wines, it could be a little oakier. Some people like it a little sweeter. Some people like it drier. So we can adjust things like that. So it's not like we don't grow the wine ourselves. We don't have a large vineyard with vines, but we have 3 suppliers, really good suppliers, and we buy the wine from them. Patricia, if you're going to put it in the bottom, I'll just give you one of my email addresses and one of my business phone numbers, and people can reach out to me if they want.
Yeah, we will have it. So if somebody wants to contact you for, might be interested in getting a wine kit, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Joanne. Has been so
It's
wonderful.
Joan. It's Joan.
Joan, just Joan.
I'm Joan.
Joan. Okay. I don't know what I said. Joan.
Well, in the last few years, a lot of people, because it's Joan, a lot of people say Joanne, but for me, Joanne is Joanne. Mine's just Joan.
Joan, sorry.
No worries.
Okay.
You're going to edit, right?
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we're going to come back with another fabulous video with more insightful people like Joan. And so thank you so much. We'll see you later. Thank you.
My pleasure. Namaste.